Here is our third rookie reminder for top real estate tips and tools for you to use in your business. So, we've already talked about your database, we've already talked about your pipeline, and now it's time to talk about your calendar. And I don't care whether you're digital or you're still back to paper. I used digital for years and actually went back to paper because, again, I'm a visual person that sees things differently when it's in my own handwriting. And it has given me the ability to plan out more time than just day to day. That's what works for me. Obviously, you maybe are using a digital calendar so that you can share it with other people in your household. That's really important to you as well. Invest in what you'll use in, but you've got to have a calendar. Your calendar is your best friend forever. It's your BFF. And I once had a coach tell me, if it's not on your calendar, it doesn't exist. So if you're not time blocking for lead generation, for time with your spouse, for time for groceries, all of those little things that need to get done in your world, they're going to start not getting done because as you either get busy in real estate or you get distracted in real estate, you're going to have no control over what happens. So, the first thing that I would suggest is plan your time off first. Now, I'm not saying go in full vacation mode and take 3 months off, or maybe you can afford to do that. I don't know. But if you know about it now, get it in your calendar. Don't miss your spouse or children's birthdays or anniversaries. You know when those are, get those in there now. Your major holidays that you celebrate, whether they are federal or religion, you know what those dates are now. Get them in your calendar. Those are non negotiable things that you do not want to miss. And trust me, I have seen too many moms in the bathroom crying because they accidentally forgot about a little Christmas program for a kindergartner that day at school. And I just don't want that to be you. There's no reason to be in a business like this if we can't take advantage of putting our families first. But with that, that means we've got to work. We've got to plan our time to work. So, first of all, plan your time off first. If you know about it now, get it in your calendar now. It's what I call plan ahead to get ahead. Plan ahead to get ahead is one of my favorite mantras in my world, because if there's not a plan, it's going to be a disaster. And it starts with my calendar. Then you've got to plan time to prospect for a new business. There's a lot of things you've got to do in real estate, down to the details of putting a sign in the yard and picking up a sign then when it closes. All those little details are your responsibility. Now, do you have to do all of those things? No, you really only have to do the things that require a license. But for now, if you don't have an assistant or a transaction coordinator, it's all on you. So, here's the thing that I worry happens in real estate because you've got a flexible schedule. Now that you're in this world, you're the one that's taking off the day for sick kids to stay at home or because they've got a teacher intern day or something. I don't know what it's called. And you've got the kiddos at home. You're always the one with them, or you're always the one that's sacrificing because you've got the flexible schedule. I've even had people go so far to say, well, surely you can take care of this because you don't have a real job. Honey, my job has the word real in it. Real estate agent. There's not anything that could be more real than this, right? But you got to run your business like a business. So plan for time to prospect. Then the other thing with that is you've got to hold yourself accountable to it. Otherwise, you're going to slide that off on your calendar to take care of another emergency with a closing. And then all of a sudden, you're going to be putting out all these fires, and you didn't really do anything that produced future income. It's what I call mistaking movement for achievement. Have you ever had that day where you've gotten home and maybe your spouse says, how was your day today, honey? Say, oh, busy. Wow, what all did you do? I don't remember. I don't even remember how I drove home. Did I take the interstate? Did I take the back roads? How did I even get here, right? You are on such autopilot. It's really easy to do it. Most of us do it. You're not alone if you're relating to what I'm saying right now. But that's why you need to be in control of your schedule. Otherwise, a day, a week, a month will pass by that you're taking care of all these details and you're busy, but it didn't give you anything to move the ball forward in terms of finances. So don't mistake movement for achievement. Movement's all the details we've got to take care of. Achievement is prospecting for new business so that we constantly have closings and commission checks coming in for you. Another really good tip is do your hardest task first. By doing your hardest task first, it will make everything on your to-do list for the day either seem super easy or maybe even unnecessary. A really good book I would suggest is a book called Eat That Frog. It's a little book. It'll not take you very long to read, but it's really about how to get in control of your schedule, hit those hardest things first right away in the morning, and then the rest of the day is going to feel easy breezy, beautiful, cover girl to you, right? Next up is accurately assign time for the task. This one I know takes a little trial and error, but what I found on a digital calendar is when you go in and you want to make an appointment to run an errand to pick up a sign and lock box, you're plugging that in automatically for 30 minutes, even though it might only take you 15. And then what do you end up doing for that other 15? You end up expanding it and stopping to get a Starbucks and doing all these things. And I'm not saying you can't do those things, but if you do them repetitively, they're going to build up and it's going to waste away half of your day and you're not even going to realize it. Okay. So accurately assign the time for a task, a 15-minute task for 15 minutes. Otherwise, trust me, you'll make it 30 or longer. Okay. Next up is to build a bunker to avoid distractions. The first thing I'm going to suggest is what does your workspace look like? If you're in a traditional office environment, are you in an area where other agents can come and tap and interrupt you and chit chat, and then you end up going to lunch for 90 minutes? What does that look like? If you're working from home, are you avoiding your real estate activities for laundry? Right? I've been there before. I get it. What does that look like? And then really my other piece of advice around avoiding distractions, your cell phone, right? Did you know that you don't have to respond to every Facebook or Instagram notification, or maybe even every phone call or email? One thing I did when I started teaching is I had to shut my ringer off, or it would have rung all day while I was trying to conduct classes. But what I quickly learned is I don't really need to have my phone on ring unless I'm expecting a really important phone call and I have nothing else to do but focus on that phone call, then the ringer comes on. Otherwise, if I'm engaged in an activity, that phone is silent and upside down and at least an arm's length away from me. Then I work on my task. When that task is done, then I can check for messages. So I just have kind of gotten the attitude that that phone is really important. That's where leads call you. Don't get me wrong, but it's also an item of convenience for us as well. And sometimes, if we're not careful, that one little Facebook check in can turn into 90 minutes of scrolling through gosh only knows what. And I know we've all probably been there. These are my best tips for working with a calendar. Again, I hope you fall in love with your calendar and can find that you deserve to take time for yourself and your family. But that means that we've also got to schedule your work and when you're going to be committed to doing real estate activities so we can get you some commission checks. So thanks for listening. We are now done with top tips for your real estate toolbox.